actually want to make something very clear before we begin this video. Please do not claim DSDreams and DSVault are the same person. This video will get into my elaboration on why I think this way, but based on evidence that I currently have, I no longer believe that they are the same person, but they might be connected. But that's my opinion. That is my opinion. Either way, they both have still proven themselves to be very unethical and dishonest, but they are probably not the same person. This video was supposed to be solely on DSVault, however, DSDreams has ended up having a bigger impact than we thought they would, and I would like to apologize for my last video in which I implied that these were the same people just based off of what we found in the moment. This video is going to have a lot more facts, a lot more speculation, a bigger deep dive, and I encourage you to form your own opinions on the information I'm about to show you. But again, everything in this video is alleged and speculation. This video is just a lot of stuff that me, my friends, and my viewers have found. So just remember to have an open mind. Let's begin. A few days ago, I uploaded a video calling out a very scummy business named DSVault. I went over their sketchy business practices, stuff like AI usage in their store and logo, reposting content and blocking those who call it out, not fulfilling orders, false advertising, and potentially owning multiple businesses with identical websites and so on. The video ended up getting a lot of traction, being in the top 30 of most hyped videos that week in the US, which is crazy to me. And I've since gotten numerous DMs sending me stores with similar tactics and visuals, and just stores that people speculate could be related. Some of these stores were eerily similar. In my original video, we uncovered 2 other businesses that were identical to DSVault and in my opinion may or may not be owned by the same guy. I took notes and accumulated nearly 15 similar businesses. Some have identical setups, some have the literal same car in the background, and some being completely unrelated. I'm going to show you some of these businesses that I found. But first I need to make something else clear. The biggest goal of my original video was to make sure people are aware of businesses that use these scummy tactics and aware of what to look for. A PSA to do a little bit of research before purchasing from a business. The details on the businesses I'm about to show you, besides some details that will be shared at the end, are entirely from my own opinions. I'm a person, I have my own biases. I encourage you to form your own opinions based on what I show you. Whether a business shares your morals and stuff like that, that is all up to you. We have a lot to unpack here. Not every business I'm going to show you is related to DSVault. Some of them are not even scams, and I think this could be a good moment to double check and make sure we aren't falsely accusing anyone. But these were stores pointed out to me and stores sent to me by viewers. So let's start with the one we already know from last time we talked. DSVault, of course, DSDreams, and RespawnDS. They're all very identical, RespawnDS and DSDreams being the exact same website, and both websites looking exactly like DSVault down to the wording. So if that refreshed your memory, alright, let's move on. PSX Revive, Neoplay, Infinity Girl, Retro Vita, Modboy Labs, Classic Game Zone, Neocore, PSX Vault, PSP Vault, DS Revived, and NDX Revive. Interesting. Let's take a look at some of these. InfinityGirl.store, at least that's their Instagram name. Infinity Girl used to be Cozy Gloom, which I remember seeing make the rounds on my own For You page. This little thing with thousands of games that you'd plug into your computer and pray it's not a virus. They rebranded to Infinity Girl, and that didn't really seem successful because their website is nowhere to be found anymore. From my perspective, I felt this account is identical, but probably unrelated to DSVault due to the monitors being completely different brands, which could be a nitpicky thing, but we'll get there. The next store. It's a little unsurprising at this point, but they have a bunch of reused content. It actually looks like they did the opposite of DSVault, originally aiming towards the aesthetic gamer girl vibe, and transitioned into the basic PSP style of content. The website looks exactly like what we've seen before. Besides the stolen content, similar website, and content looking similar on the surface, there is nothing 100% telling me that this store is owned by the same people as DSVault, but it looks extremely likely based on these indicators. PSP Vault. If the name raises suspicions, I don't blame you. However, I think PSP Vault is legit. Their TikTok account has 150 followers. At first, I was a little skeptical of this car interior, as DSVault has also showcased their handhelds in a similar looking interior at first glance. However, DSVault has a BMW, and this is a Mercedes interior. PSP Vault also films videos packing orders, repairing broken PSPs, shipping their orders, and this also looks like a warehouse or a storage unit. Their website, also completely different from what we've seen with prior businesses. Their layout is just completely different. The photos are consistent. These reviews look legit. They even claim to pay you to send them broken or working PSPs. There's a few off things here, like this AI generated image of someone with a PSP Vault shirt holding an AI PSP, and they also use the AI text-to-speech voice on their socials. But from my perspective, they seem way more legit than what we have seen. This looks like a business that I might purchase from, but again, I am one person, I cannot be 100% certain, but they present themselves in a way that's way more believable, and the content is consistent, so do with that what you will. DS Revived. DS Revived is a few days old as I'm recording this. The logo is AI generated, I can already tell you that. If you saw my last video, you can probably spot that right away. This content is very identical to DSVault and related sites. They reuse some of the same clips that DSVault reuses, and some people pointed out in their own comments that they might be related to DSVault or DSDreams. As of recording this, the account has not released their website yet, so we can't like snoop through and see, but they're similar. They are very similar looking. PSX Vault. PSX Vault is nothing new. They reuse content, the whole shebang. However, they don't really seem related to DSVault to me. They were 100% a scam though, because their website was taken down, and they only posted one packing and order video, which does not fit the vibe of the rest of the account that does use original content. So this one could be a win, because they're gone. I don't know. Next one. Classic Game Zone. This one is a little hard to tell. They reuse a lot of content, completely different setup. Reuse content, of course, biggest red flag here. If a business reuses content, that's just a bit sketchy to me, but the website looks slightly different. There was clearly a person that wrote out the descriptions of items here. The pictures are consistent in listings, and the website even has its own music that plays while you browse. So it's a little odd. I don't think they're related to DSVault. I don't know if they're legit, but I am a little cautious just because they reused content. Mod Boy Labs. This one had me for a moment, I won't lie to you. The content is very consistent and original, besides the first few uploads and some others. What tipped me off before anything else was this fucking BMW interior. That's the car. That is the exact same interior that DSVault has in an older video. This isn't like PSP Vault's Mercedes. Like this is the same BMW. This is crazy. This is when I realized, oh, I should probably check the website. And surely enough, it's the same freaking guy. This is the same website. Bar for bar, word for word from the ChatGPT that I pointed out in my last video. Every other website we have looked at so far has had just like a little bit of a difference that makes me unsure. But this is 1000% the same person. And then I went to look at their logos on Instagram, because at first I didn't even think about like, oh, could this logo be AI? So I went there. These motherfuckers, the icons are so inconsistent in the highlights. I don't know how I didn't realize that in the first place. And this logo has the slightest hue to it that I don't think will show up on the video, but this is probably AI too. Let's just move on. Retro Vita. I'm so fucking tired, dude. At first glance, none of the content really tipped me off. Nothing was really here that convinced me. I checked the website and it's the same website. It is the same website. The listing photos are super inconsistent. One of these are literally PSP Vault's photo. How the hell is this happening? And we aren't even done. PSX Revive. Man, I don't know anymore. They're all starting to blur together. There's literally so much of them. I don't even know what to comment on anymore. I'm so done with this shit. I click on the website and it's the same thing. You know what's even worse? Neoplay ended up just being Neocore. Like, they redirect to the same website. PSX Revive and Neo Slop are the same shit. This is terrible. After this, I made my list with notes, not expecting much to come of it, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to make an update with this information. I also forgot to mention that a lot of these stores were sent to me by these people and many other people on my Discord server. I kept my server updated with my findings, and we all discussed how crazy it is that there was even this many stores that looked the same. 3 days after my video was uploaded, I got a message on the server. Hanaidon, I hope I'm saying that right, aka the person who posted this, made an entire Google Doc deep diving through every domain owned by whoever is/are behind DSVault, stores not owned by this person, who the owner of the store is, interconnected emails and accounts, and resources on where to report these stores. Oh my god. And I mean all credit to this person. They have done amazing research. I could not have done any of this without them. So with their permission, I will be sharing this doc with you. But again, I want to point out there are some inconsistencies. I don't want anyone to automatically assume things right off the bat. We have a lot to unpack here. We have 100% confirmation that DSVault and Modboy Labs are 100% the same guy, owned by the same guy. However, we still need more information to confirm all of these are owned by the same person. Personally, I believe there are multiple people behind this. I'll give you my reasoning once we go over the Google Doc, and I'm going to deep dive on all of these websites. But please keep this in mind. It begins with this. Hey everyone, I found Toasty's latest video about DSVault while scrolling through YouTube, and I wanted to try to investigate the different stores, as I like doing these types of investigations. This is the first time putting my OSINT knowledge to real-world practical use, so please pardon me if anything is unclear. Huge thanks to Toasty for making the video and informing everyone about this scam, and also giving me a nice little challenge of trying to find details about the whole operation. The Google Doc then shows a bunch of domain names that he claims were all registered by the same person, but due to new information that we got after this Google Doc was sent to me, this does in no way mean that the stores are run by the same people. And this is alleged. I don't want to say that these are confirmed to be the same person. There's a lot that's happening, and even the person that wrote the Google Doc isn't entirely confident that it's the same people anymore. But this is still a very interesting thing to look at, because a lot of these domains were registered around the same time. For example, Shop Retro Vita and Respawn DS were registered around the same time, same day actually. Modboy and PS Revive were registered a day apart. DSDreams was registered just weeks after Modboy Labs and PS Revive. It paints an interesting timeline on the domains for sure, especially because a lot of these aren't even up anymore. He then goes on to say, I confirm this by checking the technical setup of each page. All the active domains are using Shopify, as well as using the same copy-pasted text from ChatGPT. Regardless of whether they are active or not, the whois lookup for all of the above domains result in the same response, the same registrar and the same name servers. The status is also the exact same for most of them. That is a unique setup that I've personally, in my few years of OSINT, have never seen before. Combined with how similar each store's SSL certificates are to each other, along with the relatively close together dates from most of them, makes it extremely obvious that this is run by a single person. And again, due to information we have now, this might not be accurate, and it's alleged. But this is still really interesting to look at, and again, form your own opinions on this. This section of the Google Doc is basically him explaining that PSP Vault is in no way related, PSX Vault is also slightly different, and Classic Game Zone has a different whois record altogether. There are some stores he couldn't verify because they've been taken down, but then here's where the real meat and potatoes, I think that's the saying. Here's where the good stuff of this Google Doc is. The fraudster in question, aka DSVault, has accidentally left several breadcrumbs behind, which I could follow to initially confirm the suspicions that at least both DSVault and Modboy are run by the same person. 100% definitely. Using shared information between the stores, I managed to track down a surprising amount of details about this scam. However, I will not be sharing any personal information because that would be doxing. However, as a warning to the fraudster, it's not difficult to find details about you for anyone who knows what they're doing. Not that I would recommend anyone going out there to find them. Side note, please do not harass them if you do stumble upon their account. Report them to law enforcement instead. This was an interesting case because I managed to find out a lot about him. Yes, him, because I could indeed confirm the community's suspicion of this being a man. In fact, I got so much details that I can and will report him to law enforcement, comfortably knowing that they will have the sufficient information to conduct an official investigation. However, most of that information will not be shared with anyone except for relevant authorities. I can, however, publicly share that he lives in Arizona. I can share some of the frankly hilarious places that he claims to live at but doesn't actually on the different storefronts. At a building for a property assess management company in southern France, the literal headquarters of the Lisbon City Council local government body, a non-existent North Dakotan city, East Lansing, Michigan, a random civilian's house near Melbourne. Dear fraudsters, please don't put civilians in danger by giving out their addresses as the place of origin for your illicit operations. I'm frankly not sure why they go through the efforts of creating these fake addresses, since they leave far more obvious technical breadcrumbs behind, but I also have a very hard time understanding fraudsters in general. And he proceeds to give resources on where you can report these websites to, if you so please. This Google Doc had a lot to unpack, but I need to re-emphasize that we are no longer certain that these are the same person, but DSVault and Modboy Labs are definitely the same person. And we're going to look through and I'm going to explain why I believe this is no longer the case. So let's point out some minor differences between the websites, starting with when you look into their terms of service. PSX Revive and NDX Revive share the exact same terms of service, word for word, bar for bar, nothing different at all. DSVault and Modboy Labs are the same. They share the same terms of service, absolutely nothing different, but they are very different than the PSX terms of service, if that makes sense. Retrovita ended up kind of just being on its own. Maybe it was part of the other domains that got taken down. I don't know. That's just speculation. DSDreams and RespawnDS are the same. The terms of service in DSDream's website contains a RespawnDS email, and they even admitted this themselves that RespawnDS was part of DSDreams at some point, but it is not the same as DSVault, and I think that is very important to know. The other domains are down, so we can't really deep dive into those ones and look at the differences, but basically there is just enough of a difference between these websites that we are led to believe that it is not all one guy. It could be a group of people for all we know, and it is, again, really important that you just form your own opinion on this. Speaking of more than one guy, we are still going. Fresh off the presses, DSVault and DSDreams are seemingly in a feud with each other. What? On November 14th, DSDreams posted a screenshot on their story, or a couple screenshots actually, claiming that competitors are trying to get their account banned and calling them scammers. Yes, you heard that right. The first screenshot posted is a DM from somebody messaging DSDreams. They claim that both parties are giving very different takes on what's going on and revealed to DSDreams after asking them if they are related that they too messaged DSVault. I'm going to read these off for you. This is the caption from DSDreams. Just wanted to clear up any concerns. We've had a few customers mention that our competitors are trying to get our account banned and calling us quote-unquote scammers, heart emoji. The original question asked by the customer isn't clear here, but we can assume it was just asking if they were related. So here is how DSDreams responded. Hi, yes, this is just our competitor. We take inspiration from one another as they concept work very well on our pages. Both our brand are completely legitimate. Obviously, I will recommend us over them. However, I believe that may be a like bias of me. Please check our Instagram highlights to see our common questions about our consoles and legitimacy. We also have a lot of reviews on our page and our website. Hope you end up getting yourself a modded 3DS no matter who from. They are genuinely such a nostalgic and vibey handheld. The customer then responded and said, so you two are saying two different things here. I had asked them about you two being curious and this is what they said. And I quote from DSVault, yes, we've seen them, crying emoji. They've stolen our videos, captions, and even our customer replies. They're impersonating us under a fake name. Sadly, they've been scamming people and not sending out any consoles. We've reported them and had some videos taken down already, but please report their page if you can, heart emoji. We are the original and only real DSVault. DSDreams, of course, did not like this response, and learning that DSVault is now claiming that they are scammers. And this is how DSDreams responded. Hi. That's really unfortunate that they have said this. Please do not believe what they are saying. We care for every console and are not scammers. I guess they are quote-unquote playing dirty and are trying to get our account moved because they don't want competition, heart emoji. To be honest, I'm utterly disgusted that that's how they're acting as a business. As a community, we should lift each other up and not try to get each other banned and rub each other's name in the dirt. Thank you for letting us know though. We appreciate it. Brother. DSVault has not made a public statement, nor do I want to get involved enough to push them to make one. DSDreams, after posting this, began begging for reviews on Instagram and asking people to share photos of the consoles customers have received, using more stolen photos in the process. In my previous video, I mentioned some people do receive their consoles and some people don't. I'm going to read off some reviews that DSDream ended up reposting this same day, but I'm not going to share who posted them because I don't want anybody calling them out. These are just customers as far as I know. They have nothing to do with DSVault besides placing an order. The post had photos of a console they bought from DSDreams, and it says, and I quote, DSDreams is legit, by the way. I think what some people aren't realizing with the price is you aren't just paying for a modded SD card. You're paying for an entire console as well as an SD card and other fees like importing, so they can keep their business up. And shipping is probably just included in the price. Obviously, it's going to be pricey. My only wish is they had some sort of instruction guide or something on how to use the modded software and more transparent shipping information. But overall, I've used this console every day since I got it, and I love it. Again, please do not go out of your way to find the person who left this review. They included photos of an original 3DS, which DSDream sells for $330, on sale for $271. You can get a modded 3DS console, SD card included, for $160 on Etsy, as they are usually under $200. They also sell a 3DS XL for $437, on sale for $333 because that's so much better. You can get a modded 3DS XL on Etsy for just under $200. On Aliexpress, shipped from China, you can get a 3DS with modded software pre-installed for $140. This part is important, because the second review of DSDreams shared a little more information about DSDreams. And I quote, TLDR, I ordered a 3DS from the seller at DSDreams. It came intact, works well, plays well, and the battery lasts long. Now for the longer paragraph. God damn, this was a roller coaster of emotions waiting for it to arrive. The seller was helpful and responded back to any email, though it took some time. I originally found them on TikTok, so I was worried it would be a scam, but it wasn't. I'll give some warnings up ahead, as I am not one to beat around the bush. The seller ships from China using Aliexpress. Mind you, DSDreams is located in Australia, and I thought they refurbished these consoles themselves, but let's move back to the review. Second, the seller does answer to emails, but it can take a few days as they likely have a lot of orders and occasional issues with shipping. That happened in my case. The shipment was postponed for like a week. They recently moved their storefront to the bio of their Instagram and removed it from their TikTok. Not sure if it matters to anyone. I believe it's actually a bit better since they seem to be more active on their Instagram page. End quote. Do what you will with this information, but to me, it seems like DSDreams might actually be drop shipping from Aliexpress. I also want to bring up that it's very possible to get scammed even when you do receive a product. DSDreams may not be owned by the same person as DSVault, but this still doesn't excuse the fact that they repost content on their socials, use Pinterest photos on their website that aren't theirs, and overcharge or potentially drop ship these items. This is still, to me, very dishonest and could even be considered false advertising if you wanted to go there. The next day, DSDreams began following stores that I recommended in my previous video, leading us to speculate, are they really attempting to rebrand here? They even reached out to me personally and asked me to make them a logo, which is interesting. We were all suspicious but curious of what their next moves will be, and surely enough, we had it. They began posting photos of their orders. Perfect, that's just what you want to see from a small business, right? I keep emphasizing this, but again, I want you to have your own opinion. This is speculation. These are my opinions. At this point, I'm just showing you what has been going down on the internet since I uploaded that video a few days ago. Now, my immediate thought when I was sent this post with their orders was these look like AliExpress manufacturer photos. The photos that Alibaba manufacturers or AliExpress stores send you before they ship or start mass producing something. I've had a few stores send me photos like this before, and I've messed around with the manufacturing space, so that's kind of just how I know. My second immediate thought was, there is text in these photos. What I assume was some kind of ID, identifier, or something related on this table, or simply a clear warehouse name behind these orders. I kind of assumed that these words were related to a warehouse in some way. Looking up the KAWS name brought up Alibaba, but nothing related to handhelds. Looking up a Nintendo 3DS on AliExpress, doing some scrolling will bring you to this store. This store has a basic Aliexpress store name, but if we look at their 3DS photos closely, this is the same table, or at least has the same branding as the orders that DSDream posted on Instagram. You can't really make out the text, but I can make out the word distributor. This store ships from China using Aliexpress, just like DSDream's does. In this post, DSDream's claimed that they have had over 100 orders in the last few months. So has this store. In my opinion, they either outed themselves as drop shippers, as they're supposed to be located in Australia, or they are this warehouse in China. Either one makes them deceptive, allegedly. As for who is behind DSVault, just like the person who wrote the Google Doc, I do not want to dox anybody. I will only share with you what is public information, as some of my comments have even started to catch on and find this. We are going to tread very lightly. I will be blurring faces and possibly names. DSVault and Modboy Labs, like I said before, share the same terms of service. In their terms of service, I found emails. There is a certain TikTok account with a decent following that has this same email in their description, in his description. He is an entrepreneur, quote unquote, and there are images of a Shopify ran business on his account. The names of the shops are blurred, but coincidentally the prices are similar to DSVault prices. These are connected. I mean, DSVault literally had this email on their website. And I know a bit more, but I cannot share more. I don't want to get in trouble for something. I think I'm already in too deep, and you can probably understand why. It is more than likely that this is the man behind DSVault and Modboy Labs. DSVault and Modboy Labs, like I mentioned earlier, are the only two accounts and stores out of any of these stores to have 100% similarity and even the same BMW interior. This further convinces me that these stores are at least ran by the same people, allegedly. I'm going to emphasize, please do not harass people, please do not dox people, please do not go out of your way to do anything bad with this information. The purpose of this video and my last one is to help identify suspicious businesses, so that if these people attempt to return under a different name, you know what to look for. Like I said at the beginning of my video, I am one person. I have biases. Please do your own research before purchasing and see if a business aligns with your morals and respects the products they sell. Handhelds are getting more expensive every day, but that doesn't mean you have to pay more. There are genuine small businesses out there who do it better and cheaper than these businesses with sketchy practices. A gentle reminder that you can still be scammed when you receive a product. This will be the last time I make a video on these businesses. I don't want to delve deeper. I'm not trying to get involved any further. I am not a drama channel, nor am I a channel that calls people out. I am simply a person that's into handhelds, tech, and other stuff. To end this video on a positive note, let's talk about the impact that my last video had. Quality Finds, one of the trustworthy stores that I named in my last video, has gained an insane amount of traffic on their website since then. They personally reached out and thanked me. I feel like this thank you should also just go to you guys who watched the video and who went to her shop, and just really anyone. Thank you. Melty Mods also completely sold out their store. They reached out and thanked me again, and I'm passing that on to you because this is an amazing achievement. My previous video made it all the way up to the top 30 of top 100 hyped videos of the week on YouTube, which is insane because that was my fastest growing video. And even though you all tuned in just to know what was going on, I do want to say thank you. And thank you to those who did subscribe. I gained over 2,000 subscribers from that video, so thank you to those who are sticking around. Many creators in the community have since talked about these business practices and created their own videos on the topic. Many of those who DSVault has stolen content from. Rainy Keyboard from my previous video has gotten an endless amount of support, and I'm just so happy about that. Thank you for watching this deep dive. I want to remind you to do your own research, form your own opinions, and this was all speculation and discussion. Thank you for sticking through until the end, and I hope that if you were drawing while listening to this video, I hope your drawing was great. If you were eating food, I hope your meal was great. And if you were doing chores, I hope your chores ended up being good. Or I hope you finished your chores. Again, thank you so much for watching. I feel like I've spent so much more time on research in this video than I've ever done, and I appreciate those who tuned in from the first video and decided to tune in again for this video, and I appreciate those who are going to stick around even if I am no longer covering drama like this. I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!